What's up, guys? Ricky here with another review on the McFarlane Toys Gladiator Batman. Just got this from Amazon, and yeah, it got here actually a day early, which is awesome. So I don't know if anybody else orders on Amazon. For me, it's about 50-50 on pre-orders, just FYI. Either it gets here and it gets here on time or early, which is great, or it gets canceled, which isn't very good. So this one actually did show up. So here we go. Let's take a look at it in the package. Okay, so here we go. First impression. So we got some really cool damage going on in the helmet and a really cool silver tone. I do like that. I know silver tones are hit or miss with McFarlane. Sometimes it looks like cheap plastic, or sometimes it has a really good kind of sheen to it. It looks pretty realistic. And I think that's a pretty good silver tone, so I like that. Okay, right, we got some pieces here. Looks like we got a lot of damage going on, which I think is really cool, which any of the damage could definitely benefit from a black wash just to draw out that texture even more. You got the shoulders here that are just kind of black, so that could actually benefit from probably some silver paint. Not sure why they're not painted. Okay, we got some gloves. Okay, so we got some cool silvers. I do like the belt. It looks like they did do dry brushing on the belt, so it looks like it was a black base coat with silver dry brushed over the top, so it looks really good. Looks like we could benefit from a little dry brush on the little straps there that are hanging down. Black wash, okay. Definitely the pants, but some really cool textures and details throughout. And does come with a really cool axe as well. And this one does look like there's some painting to it, so digging that. I know some of the McFarlane weapons are pretty plain Jane, and this one has a little bit of paint application to it, so that looks good. And the silver tone, just like the helmet, looks really good. So digging that. Okay, so that's the front of the package. Here's the side, so Gladiator Batman. We have the back here, so Gladiator Batman Dark Knight's Metal. It looks like he is riding on top of the Joker dragon character, so that's pretty cool looking there. I do not have the Joker dragon thing. Put in the comments if you like it. I'm just curious. It just wasn't something I was really into, but now that I got him, I mean, that might be a pretty cool thing to have. So, but overall, it looks really good artwork. Okay, you got the side of the package here, so Gladiator Batman Dark Knight's Metal. And awesome. So let's open this up and see what we're looking at. Okay, here is Gladiator Batman out of the package. And this figure is outstanding and looks way better out of the package than it does in the package. And I noticed a few things, too, that I didn't notice when we were kind of looking just through the window there, the box. So here we go. So one, the cape, right? The cape textures. Look at those details and textures. That is phenomenal. Looks so good. So I'd love to touch that up with maybe like I mean, you can either black wash it and kind of fill in those textures if you want to, which would look really nice. Or you might be able to dry brush like a different tone. I know I did do a medium gray on one before and just barely put it on there, and it just brings out some of those textures. But because like this Batman has a lot of wear and tear on him and distress, it'd be cool to make this cape look very distressed too. So I'll look into that. I'll probably make this one of my quick customs as well. And if I change it, I will show you on the my page, my YouTube channel. So here we go. So obviously you got really cool silver paint there on the helmet. Lots of really good textures. Looks good. Like I said, black wash would definitely fill in those textures and show them off even more. All right, we got some good stuff here. So that is so. I remember how I said that they did paint differentiation on this on the handle. They didn't. It was the lighting. So the lighting played tricks on me. So but yeah, it's just solid brown. So black wash, maybe some touch-ups on it will look a little bit better. But overall, let's see. If you look really close, you can see they actually did do a dry brush, like a brown, over the top on the legs, which looks pretty good. Just really brings out some of those details a little bit better. You can see that. Looks really good. And then, yeah, other than that, right, we have some black pieces here, which I may just touch up with like the lightest hint of silver just to kind of highlight and show that it is armor. And maybe keep it kind of black because I think that's kind of how it's supposed to be. But looks pretty cool. So you might see a little bit of that coming from me too. So yeah, looking really good. I love all the little attention to detail, the stuff that they usually don't do with a lot of McFarlane. So they definitely, I'd say spent quite a bit of extra to kind of make the paint applications really pop on this one. I think it's a really good figure to spend that extra money on, in my opinion. But there's still some opportunities around paint applications. So customizers, you can have a lot of fun with this one. So looking pretty good. So how about we get into not articulation. How about I show you the other stuff real quick? Here we go. So it did come with a card. So here we go. Pretty cool imagery here. Okay, looking good. And then the back of the card. So Dark Knight's Metal. So if you want to read the bio, you can read it now. Okay, perfect. And then it comes with kind of the standard display stand. So I'll call out some of the other stuff in a bit, but for now, let's get into the articulation. Head looks up that far. Does look down very far. Do have a pivot side to side and does rotate just fine. So that's nice. You do have arm joints that go up not very far because it kind of hinders this here, unfortunately, so it doesn't go up very high. You do have double jointed elbows, which is nice. You do have bicep swivel, which is good. And then you do have wrist articulation as well, so that does work pretty well. And then you do have, it's got the standard kind of joints, so they can rotate side to side. Big fan of that with the McFarlane pieces. So now you have articulation, can go back super far. Look at that, super far. You can go forward, crunch, pretty good. And you can get this really nice tilt, so you can get into some really cool positions with this axe, which I'm a really big fan of. Okay, now we have legs, can go in the splits about this far, pretty far. Can go up, not quite 90 degrees. You do have double jointed knees, which is nice. And you do have ankle articulation and pivot as well. And then you do have a thigh swivel. So if you look real closely, you do have a thigh swivel, and that is, I assume, to be riding the Joker dragon, so you can get on there a little bit easier. But overall, really impressed with this articulation. And it's a little bit better than the standard McFarlane Toys articulation, so a huge fan of that. So if you're looking for an articulated Gladiator-style Batman, this is the one for you. Okay, so the only thing I'm not a fan of with the Gladiator Batman is the face. So, I mean, they did some different tones on it, so flesh tones. I don't think the flesh tones are bad. The facial hair is fine. It's just the face. So they gave him definitely like the most frownish face you could have given a character. So the only thing about it is like it makes it a little cartoony. I think they could have done a different face to make it look not as, I guess, animated. But overall, I mean, it's not make or break by any means, but it's just something I noticed that like this is, an outstanding figure that could have been definitely could have benefited from a little bit better, mouth curvature, a different face structure when it comes to that. So that's it. Overall, amazing though. Okay, and here's a size comparison. And we have the Gladiator Batman next to the Gladiator Superman, which I kind of figured this would be the one people would want to see the size comparison of. We do have the new Elder Predator from Predator 2. We do have the Phantom from NECA. And then we have a Build-A-Figure of the Frost King in the back. So just to give us some reference. So if you look close, it looks like Batman and Superman stand exactly the same height. So that's going to look really good. And that's the only reason why I wanted to get the Superman is so I could have this battle, essentially, for action figure photography. So we'll get to see this pretty soon. I'll make sure I post that on the channel. Okay, so here he is next to Elder Predator. And you can tell Elder Predator stands a little bit taller. Not as tall as I was expecting. I was expecting him to be much taller than the Batman, but it looks pretty good there. That could be a pretty cool square off as well. And quite a bit taller than your Phantom figure, but not by much, but just a little bit. So I've noticed NECA's human type characters tend to be a little bit shorter on the 7-inch scale than the than the other one, than McFarlane's. So then you have Frost King there, so it looks like he goes to about the chest of Frost King. And I could see these all being really cool, epic shots. So I kind of posed those all together. So here we go. So let's see what we got as far as height goes. So it looks like Gladiator Batman stands about 7¼ inches tall. And that looks like that puts him at about 18½ centimeters. So pretty good. So I think it fits in pretty well with any of the other, McFarlane size figures. And you can also put them with other figures too, like the NECA line as well. Okay, final thoughts on Gladiator Batman. And I really like this figure. I think it's really good. So I was expecting it to be decent. And like I said, I just got it for kind of this photography matchup between Superman and Batman. I thought it'd be pretty cool. But out of the package, like most McFarlane toys, is actually really good. So the articulation is better than most, which is really nice. You can get us a really good action poses, which is spectacular. A lot of the paint application is above what they usually do too for these, so you see lots of differentiation in silver tones, brown tones. We saw a dry brush on the legs, and the silver tones were really, really nice to use too. Now, are there some opportunities? Yes, right. So we can definitely dry brush some silver on his shoulder pads there, probably a little bit on the gauntlets, on his feet and his arms, and definitely a black washer then can fill in some of the textures as well. So overall, I don't think you have to customize if you don't want to, but I probably will, and I'll post that video coming up here pretty soon. So again, thank you all so much for tuning in today. We did just pass 1,000 subscribers, and I couldn't be able to do that without any of you, so appreciate it so much. Thank you all, and really looking forward to trying to get to 2,000 subscribers. So stay tuned. I'll keep bringing more action figure reviews, customizations, etc. But in the meantime, thank you all so much, and I'll see you next time.